Everybody wants the biggest, the most powerful, the fastest example amongst cars, motorcycles, anything. The truth is that with small things you do lose much of the good stuff, like power, but you also get rid of the more important element, which is weight. Less weight is always more beneficial than more power, and that's the motto of these bikes. Honda CB1. Unlike any other CB model by Honda, the CB1 has this unusual model branding, although it was marketed as the CB400F in some countries. Originally, it was meant for the Japanese market, but got introduced in the USA and Canada. The engine was a modified unit from the CBR400RR with shorter gear ratios. It was replaced by the VTEC featuring CB400SF. Kawasaki GPZ400R. The GPZ series is basically the Ninja model lineup of sports bikes, which are often also branded as the ZX. This GPZ400R was also known as the ZX400 and was one of the smallest 4-cylinder bikes of the brand. Afterwards, there was the Ninja ZX4R or ZXR400, which was more powerful, lighter, and still had a 4-banger. Suzuki GSR400. The GSR400 was exactly the same as the GSR600 with the only difference, the engine capacity. Engineers reduced the bore width down from 67mm, as well as decreasing the compression ratio slightly. The RPM range was dropped as well, while the weight of the bike did not change. The main market was Japan and some selected countries with popular 400cc riding license classifications. Kawasaki Ninja ZXR250. Coming down from 400cc, there is also plenty of 250cc 4-cylinders, which are not slower by much. The difference is in the higher rev range, and therefore more power per liter, which shows us this Ninja ZXR250. Besides its competitors, it is noted for very advanced engineering and design. In 1991, the peak power raised to 16,000 RPM. Suzuki GSF250 Bandit. The Bandit series features 4-cylinder sports naked bikes with only carbureted units up until 2007. Unlike some larger models, this smallest 250cc was water-cooled and had its engine as a chassis stress member. Interestingly, there was also the GSF250V model, whereas the V letter says that there was the variable intake timing by a solenoid engaging a supplementary camshaft. Honda CB250F Hornet. The Hornet name marks the series of sports naked motorcycles, which were built to be sharp and high revving. In case of the small CB250F, it is at 16,000 rpm, which is a very high number, no doubt, as it makes around 40 horsepower from a reworked CBR250 inline 4 engine. It's respectable that it can reach up to 190 km per hour. An interesting thing is that the engine supposedly whines due to the straight cut gears driving the camshaft. Yamaha FZR250. The FZR is an old series of Yamaha superbike, starting at 250cc, going all the way up to the FZR1000. Just like the big one, the little brother was also a 4-cylinder, fed by a quartet of Mikuni carburetors. This motorcycle is all about the top-end power, which also reasons the 18,500 rpm red line. Suzuki GSX-R250. The GSX-R250 is the tiny superbike you could have in the 80s by Suzuki. Unlike the larger GSX-R750 of the time, which was air and oil cooled, the 250cc was liquid cooled and had twin 300mm front brake discs. It already had the 20k figure on the tachometer. Honda CBR250RR. The CBR250RR is one of the most badass motorcycles money can buy. The only thing it received from the predecessor was the engine, which saw some modifications. Eventually, the bike has a 200 kph of top speed and 19,000 rpm limiter. It doesn't sound too different from an old Formula 1 engine. Moto Guzzi 254. Designed to take advantage of the Italian tax concessions for under 250cc, it was one bike sold as a sporty Benelli 250 Quattro or touring Moto Guzzi 254. As the engine actually had 231cc of displacement only, it is the smallest 4-cylinder in a production motorcycle. The fairing was made from plastic, making this little bike incredibly lightweight. On the flip side, the plastic fuel tank could only take up 8.5 liters of fuel.